Hello. Today I'm going to talk to you about Fixed on Failure or Program for Growth. My name is Georgia Beasley and I am Director of Retention representing the Bobcat Academy. Growth mindset. What exactly is growth mindset? And where did it come from? Let's listen to Ms. Carol DeWick as she explains to us what a growth mindset is, so that we can determine if we indeed operate with a growth mindset.
Read back then and asked them what percent of the population do you think is capable of reading, they might have said, well, maybe 20%, 25%. Now you fast forward 400 years, we know that that's a wildly pessimistic prediction or assumption. That's actually 99.99% of the population is capable of reading. Well, what similar blinders do we have on today? So I'm excited to have Carol DeWick here, one of my personal heroes and who's strongly influenced a lot of work at Khan Academy. Carol, great to have you here.
Pleasure to be here, Sal.
So what I'd like to start off with, this word growth mindset, which I believe you came up with. Mm-hmm. When did you come up with that? What was the motivation and what is it?
A growth mindset is when students believe that their abilities can be developed. A fixed mindset is when they think, I just have a certain amount and that's it.
And this isn't just kind of feel-good talk. This is actually based in science, that the brain actually does grow stronger. Neural connections actually do form when you struggle.
In study after study, we have shown that kids who have a growth mindset get higher grades. It's not a choice between the outcome and the mindset. It shows that if kids engage deeply and effectively in a learning process, the grades and test scores are a natural byproduct. Kids who are praised for their intelligence, our research shows, don't want a challenge afterwards. They don't want to work hard on something. And if they hit difficulty, that's it. We find that when we praise or parents praise the process the child engages in, their hard work, but not just hard work, their strategies, their ideas, their focus, their perseverance, then the student learns these are the ingredients of success. If it gets harder, I'll just do these things. We've already done work with you of inserting growth mindset statements before math problems. And we found together that kids did better.
So one thing that I hope is the folks listening to these videos go out there and tell their parents, tell their children, tell their peers, tell their teachers, tell their students about growth mindset. Tell them that their brain grows when they get a question wrong, when they struggle, when they look at their errors and they say, hey, that's interesting. You shouldn't be ashamed of your mistake. You should view that as something that's interesting, something to explore. And when you do that, you will actually physically form neural connections. Your brain will actually grow.
Now that we have heard Carol DeWick's definition of growth mindset and how it works, can you finish this sentence for me? I was never good at what? What is the thing that you have been told or you've told yourself that you're not good at? Was it math or science or speaking in front of other people? What is that thing that you have told yourself that you're not good at? I'm here to tell you that you can always improve if you're willing to put in the work. The difference in a growth and a fixed mindset is a growth mindset will look at a failure as an opportunity to learn, to grow, to expand your level of understanding. You won't tell yourself, I'm not good at this or that, but instead you will say, I can learn to do anything that I want. That my effort and my attitude determine my abilities. You won't see feedback as being criticism or take it personal, but instead you'll see feedback as being constructive and making you think about things a bit differently and become better at it. Do you agree with this statement? And if so, why do you agree? If not, why? Ask yourself. Your grades are not based on how smart you are. They reflect your behavior and the actions that you take. Do you believe this? If you believe this statement, then you have a growth mindset, and that is wonderful. That means you take failure as an opportunity to grow and learn and become better. If you don't believe that statement, then that just needs a little bit of work. That means you need some encouragement, and that is what we are here to do. That fixed mindset for you is much like kryptonite for Superman. Lex Luthor, his arch enemy, would use kryptonite because once he would take out kryptonite and Superman was no longer able to fly or use his super strength or his x-ray vision, that kryptonite prevented him from being the best version of himself. Negative self-talk and negative statements by others have done the same thing to your mindset. They have you in a fixed area, believing that you can't change, that you can't learn, that you can't improve. But yes, you can. You're a student here at East Georgia State College because you believe that you can reach your goals, that you can become the best version of yourself. Do you use your failure to learn? If not, let's listen to John Legend and how he actually used his failure to become better instead of allowing his failures to make him feel like he couldn't succeed.
The thing is, every successful person you know has failed at what they love to do before. I've been unsuccessful in my career. You just didn't know about it because I wasn't famous yet, and I was trying to be famous. I was trying to get a record deal for 6 years, and I kept getting turned down. And any successful person you know, even though it seems like everything just happened for them, it usually was preceded by a bunch of failure, or at least a significant amount. But the great ones aren't the ones that don't fail. They're the ones that learn from their failure, and they keep going, and they're persistent, and they're tenacious. And for me, I was trying to get a record deal from 98 to 2004, and got turned down by every major record label, including the one I'm signed to now. And for me, that means that even when you hear no, you have to keep going through all those no's until you get to yes. And with learning something new, I think it's the same principle. When I was younger, I didn't really know that you could just get better at things. Because I think we're so used to the idea that you're talented at something and it's sort of fixed, you know, the idea that, oh, he's just a good singer, you know. And even with singing, I've gotten better at singing as I've gotten older. I wasn't singing in a way that was sustainable, and I wasn't breathing right. I wasn't doing a bunch of things correctly. I realized that there was a ceiling that I couldn't crack through unless I actually studied and worked under a coach to get better. And this idea that things are just fixed is proven not to be the case. You can get better at things, you can grow. And even people that are innately talented still need to go beyond that basic talent that they have and cultivate it.
So we see that John Legend did not become famous overnight. However, instead of allowing his failure to limit him, he allowed his failure to propel him to greatness. A growth mindset simply says that your intelligence can be developed. It can be developed through hard work and the effort that you are willing to put into it. You can develop your intelligence. You have to believe that you have the power to change your behavior and your actions. If you're willing to, instead of going home or going back to your room and just going to sleep or hanging out with friends, if you're willing to change that behavior and begin to create note cards after the class is over, begin to participate in study groups, begin to record yourself and listen to yourself later to make sure that you comprehend the information that was taught during that class period. Those changed behaviors and actions can serve to increase your level of intelligence. And it's going to take practice. The thought process that you currently have, you didn't develop overnight, but you got that way over time based on statements that were said to you and things that you said to yourself. So you're going to need to begin self-talk and direct positive statements to yourself when thinking about your coursework. If you're looking at math and the problem was something that you did not grasp initially, tell yourself, I may not understand it now, but I'm going to go to tutoring. I'm going to get the assistance that I need to make sure that I'm able to comprehend this coursework. Whatever the subject may be, you can improve, and it begins with what you tell yourself. The faculty member can tell you that they believe that you can get the information. Your parents can tell you that they believe that you can get the information. But the person that you listen to that speaks to you the most is the voice inside your head. So you need to change what you're telling yourself so that your actions and your behaviors will follow. And you have to accept the accountability for your successes and your failures. If you don't do well, ask yourself, did I study as much as I needed to? Did I take the time to learn the material? Did I listen to the faculty member in class or during the Zoom meeting? Was I as attentive as I should have been? If not, then you know what you need to change. Look at each failure as the opportunity to grow and learn from it by analyzing why things happen. You can always become better. You hold the power to change your results. It's up to you what you're willing to do with it. Can you recall a time when you were learning to drive a car or ride a bicycle? Maybe you're an athlete and you play basketball, softball, baseball, football. Maybe you're a swimmer and you learn how to swim. Did you know how to do those things with perfection the first time you tried it? Chances are you had to work at it to become proficient in that area. Education is the same. The courses that you're taking in college, you have to view in the same manner. You are not going to grasp all the material initially, but that's okay. Because if you are willing to work at it, if you're willing to put in the time and the effort, you will be able to grasp the information and understand it and increase your intellectual ability. That is why you came to college, because you believe you have the ability to do that, and so do we. You must view your education like this iceberg. And think about what John Legend said to us about the 6 years of no. Everybody sees his success, but what we don't see is his dedication throughout those years, the hard work that he had to put in, the good habits that he had to develop. Even though he's a great vocalist, he had to get singing lessons to become as good as he is. Yes, he went through some disappointments and he had to make some sacrifices. And he told us about his failures, but because of his persistence, we are able to enjoy his music today. Just as if you would persist in your education, if you would continue to push yourself, tell yourself that you can do it as much as you tell yourself that you couldn't, if you would put in the study time, join the groups, get the tutoring that you need, you can be successful. And then one day we'll be able to see you cross that stage and we'll be able to see your success. No, we won't know about all the sacrifices you made, all the things that you didn't do well in, or the habits that you had to work on over time. We won't know about your disappointments, but we will be able to celebrate your success if you are persistent. Please make the decision today that you are going to be persistent and you are going to reach your goals.